taking this as inspiration for my new drawing. I'm actually drawing on the back of this because I'm not super satisfied with it. And actually, this isn't. I couldn't find any linoleum, so yeah, I'm experimenting, but my tools are like old and kind of rusted, so we're having a time trying to get like a very cathartic experience, and it's just having a difficult time getting it to work out in my favor, which is actually kind of what I want to talk about. So for the past, let's say, 8 to 10 months, I've been well, for longer, I've been reaching out to people to collaborate, and for the past like 8 to 10 months, I've been periodically reaching out to people who um, are also in need of ongoing mutual aid, um, to collaborate. And these are people who I've been in direct community with, like done events with, or they're people who we both follow each other, um, or we're both friends. So to my mind, I'm like, okay, we're like in this together. We've built community together. We're interested in each other's work. Um, and I've been like, hey, would you be interested in um, collaborating? Like, I see you are struggling. I am struggling too. Would you be interested in working on either amplifying each other's um, mutual aid requests, or getting together and doing a fundraiser or some sort of organizing event together? And I get a variety of responses, which generally all mean no. And, people are like, um, let me get back to you, or, I have a lot like on my plate. Or like they'll be like, yes, I'm interested, and then they'll just kind of disappear and ghost when I try to like get actionable steps. And for a long time, up until very recently, actually, I've been taking this very personally. Listen, I know I'm not for everyone. I know I'm not for everyone. And recently, I've been experiencing a lot of people who just decline um, to have truck with me. They just they just don't want to continue for whatever reason. Being my friend, being in community, for whatever reason. And so I've been taking these things very personally. And I'm coming to realize that what's at work here is like a hyper individualism. It's like, yes, maybe, perhaps they may not like me, or maybe they don't like my social media. Maybe, possibly, I could irritate them. I'm sure I irritate a good many people. And I think that there's something else happening here, and what that something else is uh, a hyper individualism, and that comes from witnessing systems and people and relationships continually turn their backs, right? Because who am I reaching out to? I'm reaching out to people who are extremely marginalized, people who look like me, people who have similar experiences to me, and people who are disabled, people who are moving through complex trauma, people who are extremely marginalized. And what we've seen over these past, really it's really been like a past decade, but really over the past like 4 or 5 years, is door after door, system after system shutting in people's faces, right? And so it feels easier to be like, okay, well, like, yes, I am in dire need and I absolutely need support, but it's easier for me, and I mean, it is easier for me, and I imagine it's easier for others to just be like, okay, well, I can only rely on myself, or I don't even have the capacity to even think about what that might look like. And it's just gotten me thinking of just like how so many of the people that I reach out to, myself included, are impacted by, algorithms and systems that dock accounts. Yes, we're being shadow banned. Yes, we're being, um, suppressed and couched into these really tiny, corners of the internet. People who used to be able to get many eyes on their accounts. That's me. I'm lucky if I get 10. And so we're being regulated to these tiny corners. And I really want to note here that yes, that is absolutely a systemic, literally written into the algorithms thing. And also it's driven by people, right? People who choose to continually scroll past, people who choose to ignore because for whatever reason, because they're overwhelmed with seeing all of the suffering, because they feel that, people who move through complex trauma and people who are disabled and people who deal with chronic pain and all these things should just buck up, or whether, they also are wishing that they could ask for support for whatever reason. There are also people who are contributing to this erasure and to this silence, and it's important to be very clear about that, right? And so, I've been reaching out to people to try to like bypass them. Okay, well, like we're stronger together. Like if we can pool our resources to start to encourage these systems to, be, I don't want to say normalized, but to reduce some of the stigma around to just very reasonably needing support in a time where, I'm gonna be real. Like my like all of my things crumble. They're like, oh, all the black women. Like, yeah, all the black women lost their employment first. Yeah, lost their contracts, lost their contacts. It stopped being cool to be black. If you look at arts pages. Look at the arts pages in Maine right now. See which artists are being lifted up, and go back to just do a little count of the melanated ones. There might be we're back to the token, right? So there might be like a token one in there, not super dark, but it's not cool anymore. So I had a lot of contracts and things. There were also there's a resurgence of catering to whiteness, whatever. I digress. So it's rough out here in these streets, right? And we are not fostering, not really, we're not fostering an environment which feels good and safe to need support. We're just not. It still feels very stigma, and it drives people to a very shame-based place. And so I get frustrated and I get sad when I just think, if only we could do this thing together, if only we could, get together and like do this event and do these things, we could be able to like help to lift ourselves out of this, and also help to be able to create environment where, where it's okay to have needs in a system and an empire which is crumbling. And so I don't really have a whole lot to say except for, if you are a person who is struggling, if you're a person who requires mutual aid, if you're a person who requires support, open mouths get fed. I have journals about it. I have journals about it. People love them and they buy them because open mouths get fed. When you ask for what you need, you get what you need. It might not happen immediately, but it happens. And so I'm not giving up. I'm still very passionate about um, you know, our liberations bound up together. And I really know, I know there are collaborators out there who are willing and excited and able to find a way through. And listen, I get it. I do the hyper individualist thing too. I'm like, well, I've got me. I've got me. No one else has got me. And like, have you given other people an opportunity to have you? Though? Have you given other people the opportunity to show up for you? Have you been clear about what it is that you need? I think when people think about collaborating or think about organizing a thing, there's this whole like, oh, I just don't even have the energy. It's like, it can be really simple. It can be really simple. It can be like 2 15-minute meetings and some texts maybe. I used to take it very personally, and I still probably will to a certain degree. I'm like, well, why are you following me? You don't want to fuck with me. Why you act like you like me? You don't want to fuck with me. It's not about me. It's about trust. It's about being let down. It's about, having people decline to continue. I'm sure, I'm not the only one who's experienced that lately, right? As we continue to grow and evolve. And I got super angry, right? I changed a lot. And just about every close friendship that I had, they declined to continue on with me. And I was like, so then you don't love me, which they don't. And, and, I'm the one who's changed. So our dynamic has changed, and it's totally reasonable for people to decline to continue when you're no longer in relationship with the person that you thought that you were in a relationship with. Does it suck? Yeah. Do I have thoughts about it? Fuck yeah. And it's okay, right? And so I feel like this energy is happening for a lot of people, and I think it continues, as people are being deplatformed. I lost my Facebook. I'm probably never getting it back. I have a new one. I have 3 friends who are treasures, and I love them. And I'm just like, who even fucks with me now? Who would I even add? It's like, I feel like a lot of people are feeling like that, just feeling super isolated, super overwhelmed, and feeling like they are the only ones who have themselves. And so this is a reminder to me, and this is a reminder to everybody else. It's like I always point to nature. It's like, why is my, heart project called Just Roots? Why? Because everything is connected. Everything is connected. These roots, I'm looking at a tree right now. They are driven deep underground. And what's happening underground? They're spreading and they're connecting and they're talking to other trees and they're sharing nutrients and they're sharing information. They're, the mycelium, listen. It's all connected and we're not an exception. And acting as though we are is just counter to nature. It's counter to nature. It's counter to everything that we are. And so I just really want us to remember that. And a little challenge for you. If there's someone that you've been thinking about reaching out to, if there's a connection that you've been thinking about making, if there's an ask that you've been wanting to ask it. Ask it this week. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? They'll say no, that would suck. Rejection sucks. And just been stewing in your brain about it. So might as well get it from the inside of your body where it's doing all kinds of damage to the outside where it can have time and opportunity to alchemize and to transmute into something else. Because even if that opportunity doesn't come to fruition, even if that person says no, even if that door remains closed, you're also practicing asking for what you need. You're practicing opening your mouth. You're practicing receiving what you need. So all that is to say, we're stronger together. If you've been scrolling by things, just put a little heart on it. It helps so much. And ask for what you need. Thank you so much for listening. Be so well.